What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Off the Backboard. I am your host, Eloy Thomas. Our very first Christmas episode. Today, we're going to be breaking down the top 10 performances across NBA Christmas games of all of history. Well, since 1970. I only did since 1970 since, I wasn't around during those times to be watching a lot of hoops. But without further ado, let's get into some OTB comments. As always, drop a hashtag AskOTB in the comment section, a question, hot take, anything like that for a chance to be featured in a video. Yada, 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 y'all know the deal. But the first question comes from Isaac. He asks, what do you think about the Sacramento Kings G League player who got charged with a murder? Now, this is something that I wanted to do a little bit more research on before I spoke about it, and I still haven't looked into it. I've just been more focused on the actual hoops aspect of the NBA. But it's going to be something that I'm dropping a video on this next week, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Next question comes from Ducky Furrybottom. This is actually my boy Connor from elementary school, so shout out to homie. He had an amazing question. He asked, Prime Westbrook, Prime Magic, who wins in a 1v1 and in a team setting? Basically, who would win in a 1v1, who's better in a team setting? Also, who would be more successful if they were to swap eras respectively? Now, I feel like the team setting one is pretty easy. Magic is the ultimate point guard, 5 championships to his name, yada, yada, yada. So I'm definitely taking him in a team setting. But 1v1 is where things get a little bit more interesting, right? Just because I feel like when it comes to 1v1, you're asking who's the better scorer. And 10 times out of 10, I'm taking Russell Westbrook as a better scorer. That Midi in his prime was automatic. He's getting to the rim at will. And Magic just doesn't really have a bag offensively. I know that I might be saying that a little biased just because I never got to watch Magic with my own two eyes. But I just really feel like he wasn't the scorer that Russell Westbrook is. Now, the second part to this question was who would be more successful if they were to swap eras respectively. And this is another one that I'm going to have to give to Westbrook just because of the athleticism, the skill set. Extremely tough player, plays extremely aggressive, so he's not going to back down to the more physical play of that era. And Magic, again, just the lack of jump shot would really hurt him in this era. Not saying that he wouldn't be successful. He's a 6'9" point guard that can pretty much do it all besides shoot. But again, the lack of jump shot would really hurt him. So I'm going to have to take Westbrook for being more successful in the 80s and 90s than Magic would be in the 2010s, 2020s. Before we get into the list, I have a few honorable mentions of just players that had amazing games but just didn't quite make the top 10. Up first, we have Kawhi Leonard in 2019, who dished out 35 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, and against the LeBron-led Lakers, ended up getting the dub against them. You have Charles Barkley, who put up an amazing stat line of 38 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists against the Rockets, also picked up the dub there. And you also had KD, who put up a 44-point performance against the Denver Nuggets and brought home the dub as well. And coming in at our number 10 spot, we're going to have a guy who's really hard not to mention in any sort of all-time list. Of course, we're going to have Michael Jordan, who poured in 42 points against the New York Knicks in an 89-77 win. So almost half of their total points he ended up putting up 14 of those points in the fourth quarter to seal the win for the Chicago Bulls. Now, this is a win that had to feel great for MJ, as in his first ever NBA Christmas game, he was put up against the New York Knicks and dropped an amazing stat line with 30 points, but still ended up going home with the L. But this time around, came back, dropped 42 on their heads, and ended up picking up the dub, and he takes the number 10 spot on our NBA Christmas list. Now, at our number 9 spot, we're going to have a 40-point performance from none other than Kyrie Irving. That 40-point tally is going to be something that you guys are going to become really familiar with in this list. But he did this in a Celtics jersey. I don't know about you guys, but it's still weird to me that Kyrie was on the Celtics. Even when he was there, it just felt a little bit off. Not a whole lot of memorable moments as a Celtic, but this is definitely one of his best games in that jersey. Now, this game was definitely a back-and-forth classic and one that I had the pleasure of watching. It was an overtime thriller. Basically, the Celtics took it home at a 121-114 win. Kyrie put up a double-double, 40 points, 10 rebounds, and not something that you see Kyrie do too often on the 10 rebounds, being that he's like 6'1" on a good day. But overall, they got the win. Amazing performance from Kyrie Irving, and he takes the number 9 spot on our list. And up next at our number 8 spot, we're going to have the human highlight reel Dominique Wilkins, who put up 45 points and 9 rebounds against the Charles Barkley-led Philadelphia 76ers. And let me just tell y'all, he was absolutely cooking Charles Barkley this entire game. Just watching highlights of this, it really goes to show why he is named the human highlight reel. And I'm gonna just show y'all a couple possessions of him just absolutely baking Charles Barkley.
Charles gonna battle him. Ooh, Wilkins, that head fake, and then he steps in. And then he goes about 19 feet in the air.
He's so good in his reverse spin move. And then he hesitates as he comes out of the move. One-on-one, clear out. He's giving him all his moves.
Look at that move. Wow, 6 seconds to shoot. Wilkins.
There he is on the board.
Wow.
Again, that man earned his nickname, and he earned the number 8 spot on today's list. And up next at our number 7 spot, we're going to have another guy who it's really hard to make an all-time top 10 anything list without mentioning his name. It's going to be LeBron James, who put up an amazing stat line against the Kobe Bryant-led Los Angeles Lakers in a historic matchup on Christmas Day, where he would end up putting up 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists, the first triple-double in a Christmas Day game since Billy Cunningham did it in 1970. So thanks to that triple-double effort and a very impressive 5 for 6 from deep, they ended up picking up the win against Kobe and the Lakers, and with that performance, he picks up the number 7 spot on today's top 10 list. Now, up next at our number 6 spot, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, who ended up putting up a stat line of 42 points and 6 assists against the Miami Heat. This is a game that he would end up losing in overtime, 104-102. A game that I know that he desperately wanted to win, as it was the first meeting between him and Shaquille O'Neal after Shaquille was traded from the Miami Heat, or from the Los Angeles Lakers to the Miami Heat. But despite the L, he still put up an amazing stat line, and he earns the number 6 spot on today's top 10 performance list. And getting into our top 5, we're going to have Dwayne Wade of Miami Heat, who ended up putting a stat line of 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 steals. The 4 steals are really important when you think about who his primary matchup was that night on defense, considering they were playing the LA Lakers, and that was Kobe Bryant, who he was just playing amazing defense on throughout the entire game and still managed to put up a 40-piece. Now, thanks to his 4 steals and amazing defense that he played throughout the whole game, he managed to hold Kobe Bryant to just 16 points, his lowest scoring total of any game up to that point in the season. Just crazy to think about, considering that they were in December, so they had already played about 25-30 games to this point. And again, thanks to that defense holding Kobe to just 16 and scoring 40 on the night, they managed to get the win against the Lakers, 101-85. And for that performance, he earns the number 5 spot on today's top 10 list. And up next, coming up at our number 4 spot, we're going to have Tracy McGrady, who put up an insane stat line against her rookie LeBron James, putting up 41 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals, and took home the dub in overtime, 113-101. Now, let me tell y'all, when it comes to Tracy McGrady on Christmas, he's played 3 games. I could have picked any of those 3 games and slotted him right here. I just picked the one that I picked against LeBron because it's the most complete stat line. But against the Pacers, he put up 43 points, 9 rebounds, and assists, 2 blocks. Against the Pistons, he put up 46 points, 6 rebounds, and assists, and 3 steals. Just all in all in Christmas, he's averaged 43 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block on insane efficiency. So just no doubt the greatest Christmas Day performer of all time, and he ranks at number 4 on today's list. And up next, our number 3 spot, we're going to have Scottie Pippen, who, if he ever sees this list, he's going to be grinning ear to ear that he's this much higher on the list than Michael Jordan. But my MJ was out playing baseball during this time, so that might be the reason why he put up these stats. But I actually am a firm believer that if Scottie Pippen had his own team in his prime, he could have put up stats like this regularly. On this night against the New York Knicks, Scottie would put up an insane stat line of 36 points, 16 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Just an insane stat line to get the win against the New York Knicks in overtime, and just really showing that he could take that number 1 role, top dog role with the Chicago Bulls. But as we all know, MJ ended up coming back. They ended up three-peating again. And this was, of course, the best situation for Scottie to be in, as he would end up as 6-time champion. But I am extremely curious if he would be able to put up these kind of stats if he had his own team. But, you know, as of right now, we don't have time machines, so we'll never know. But what I do know as of right now is that he earned the number 3 spot on today's list. And up next at our number 2 spot, we're going to have the most recent performance on this list. Comes in 2019 from Nikola Jokic, who in his Christmas game debut put up an insane stat line of 41 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists against the Chris Paul and Devin Booker-led Phoenix Suns. Now, this was definitely a trademark performance for Nikola Jokic, who at this time was coming off of back-to-back MVPs. So we knew that he was capable of this sort of stat line, but this is actually the third time that it had ever been put up in NBA history. James Harden and Oscar Robinson being the only two to do it before him. Oscar Robinson doing it twice, and James Harden doing it once with 51 points, 16 rebounds, and 17 assists. So just joining elite company with those two, and Nikola Jokic himself is elite company. And with that amazing 41-point triple-double, he earns the number 2 spot on today's list. And at our number 1 spot, we're going to have New York Knicks Bernard King, who put up 60 points, a career-high effort, 7 rebounds, 4 assists on 19 for 30 shooting, 22 for 26 from the line, 0 3-pointers made on his 60-point night, which is absolutely insane to think about in today's era. He also held the scoring record for the New York Knicks until 2014 when Carmelo took it with 62 points. So just crazy to think about with all of the history from that New York Knicks franchise that he held the scoring record for them for that long. And like I said, this was a career high effort for him, the most points that he put up ever in an NBA game. So just for that performance, he gets the number 1 spot on today's list. 60 piece for the man, just absolutely nuts. And that's going to do it for me, y'all. I just want to say thank you so much for watching today's video, and Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everyone has an amazing holiday, even if you don't celebrate Christmas. Again, ask OTB, ask OTB, ask OTB. You guys have been killing it on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Follow me on those if you haven't already. I'll have the links to those in the bio. Again, the way that it works is drop a hashtag AskOTB in the comment section below with a question, hot take, anything like that for a chance to be featured in one of these videos. Again, be on the lookout for the Sacramento Kings murder mystery video that's coming out next week. I'm also dropping my top 10 power forwards list next week. I was going to drop that this week, but I wanted to do the Christmas theme. Again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. I'm getting out of here. Peace.